Hello, good evening. Buenas noches. I'm Gael García Bernal, and I'm thrilled to be here to speak about my illustrious career. I'm America Ferrera, and it's my honor to get to be here today and to be in conversation with the incredible Gael García Bernal. Hello.
Yes, hello. How's it going? Buenas noches. ¿Qué tal? Eso. ¿Qué tal?
What did we think about that? How do we feel? Right?
Oh, thank you.
I got a call about a week ago, asking if I would be here, and I just have to say, you know, it's such an honor for me to get to sit here and speak with you, Gael. I feel like you were one of the first people that I saw in cinema that made me feel so inspired for what could be possible, to see the elevation of Latinos in cinema in Mexico and here in the U.S. And your art and your choices have been such an inspiration. I know I speak for so many of us when I say that, so it's an honor for me to get to be here with you.
So much. Oh, thank you. Oh, this is so nice. Thank you, America. Thank you. It means a lot that you say that, and really, thank you. I mean, it's such a pleasure to be able to talk with you here, you know, in front of the lights, in front of, you know, we can, I mean, it's not going to come out of this room, right? Whatever we say, so it's okay.
Yeah,
we can,
it stays,
yeah, we
all
can just let
here.
it ourselves go. Yeah.
I mean, with that, I do think your choices as an actor, as a producer, as a writer and director, like the choices of what you choose to make are really fascinating. And I'm so curious about, you know, what it was about Cassandro and this project and this journey that you sparked to, that compelled you to sign on.
Well, initially, I mean, with this film, you know, every film has its own journey, no, and its own story. But with this one, it was the idea, the very romantic sort of, you know, wishful thinking idea that the director Roger Rose Williams had of telling me, like, you know, let's I want to do a film about Cassandro, this exotic wrestler. And I was like, yes, I remember a little bit, because I've got to say that I'm a very big Lucha Libre fan. I mean, I grew up watching Lucha Libre in the times of, maybe there's some contemporaries here, but in the times of Atlantis and Octagon and Rayo de Jalisco and Perro Aguayo and Hijo el Santo, you know, all of them. And Cassandro came a little bit afterwards, together with, but there was already, when I was a kid, there was already Pimpinela and Rudy Reina, and they were the prominent exoticals that were kind of, you know, that I can remember, but there were many, and so just the idea of that was very exciting. I was like, okay, that would be great to get into those costumes, you know, and go and do some wrestling, you know, that's fun. And then, you know, time passes, and this becomes something that then becomes something else, that then becomes something, and then the, you know, few pieces start to get together. And I think it was until our production company with that me and Diego have, this one, La Corriente del Golfo, we embarked on the project, you know, and said like let's just go for it. This and Amazon said, perfect, let's do it. And that's what, you know, then you reach a point that you don't even know when everything began, you know, like when was the kind of that stuff got together. So that's what it was. And let alone, I mean, the fascination of Cassandro and his story. That was what kind of
And what, like, yes, I'm remembering, I think the last time we saw each other was, oh my God, what year are we in? I think it was like 11 years ago when Diego Luna was directing the Cesar Chavez movie that you both were producing through Canana at the time. And I remember we had a conversation and you were talking about how much you enjoyed taking on a role that had you transform genders and how exciting that journey was for you. I wonder, what was that transformation like for you into Cassandro? Was it similar in any way to, and you obviously you did your own stunts, so you had to do all this physical transformation. What was your process for that transformation into Cassandro?
Yeah, well, it is very. I'm trying to think of a word in English that is like. I mean, because I think of polyedrico, which like polyhedric. No, that's not a word in English. No, it's like there's many aspects of how you engage on a character in a way. No, but I think that here there was I mean, mentioning it on two extremes. First, the great opportunity that being an actor gives you is to explore the transgender character that we all have inside, and to play with that, with that edge, with that aspect, and to engage with that and set it free in a sense, and therefore, I mean that was kind of evident with this character, to play that, because also I had to do kind of like two levels in this, because there's Saul and there's Cassandro. There's the character that Saul does, which is I've been repeating this a lot, but it's Cassandro. Saul creates Cassandro, creates a character in order to find himself, and that's what we do in life in a way. But that's what actors do as a profession. I mean, we play other people or other characters, and in that you can see something of the truth of that person, very deep inside, that the person that is actually portraying that character doesn't even know about themselves, and that's what engages us, into the performance, the interpretation ritual that we all enjoy watching and seeing, and living in a way. But on the other extreme, there was also the fact of doing lucha libre,
Yeah.
because as a kid I grew up watching it, but also I loved playing it as well. And I used to play it with my friends in school, like we would play different characters or come up with different characters, and we would just do this kind of like, exercises of wrestling, and I think that's how everything begins,
And you did your own training and your own stunts.
Yeah.
Did you regret that decision?
No, actually, no.
Did you get hurt? Did you get hurt doing
I
this?
got hurt, but not badly.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, okay, good.
fortunately, it was all. I mean, it is very extreme what the training that there is. First of all, it was a very basic sort of eat a lot and gain muscle kind of thing, and flexibility, and that was easy, because to eat a lot and do exercise, well, you have to. No, I mean, it's. But then it started to get a little bit, the real fun started to come in when started to train with the wrestlers. We worked with this organization called La Triple A, which is one of the biggest lucha libre organizations in the world, and they were super kind, really, really kind, to open up their home, and invite us in, and there was Chessman and El Tejano Jr., who are my teachers, amongst many of the up and coming wrestlers, and it was the best, because all of a sudden it's like, what is this? I'm again this joyful aspect of being an actor, that you can explore these areas of personality, and at the same time you can also play as a kid what you used to play as a kid, but now as an adult, now like a 40-year-old. So yeah,
That really is such an amazing thing. As an actor, you're taking on something and pretending to be something, and the generosity of people to open up their worlds and let you in so that you can represent it authentically. What an incredible gift.
And it happens a lot, no? I mean,
Yeah.
generally it happens like that, but I think with the lucha libre world, it was even way more, because they're used to the performative aspect of the sport as well.
And how did they feel about you specifically becoming a lucha libre wrestler?
Yeah. Oh,
Luchador.
they were having a laugh, I guess. But, I mean, they were enjoying it, but like at the same time, they were like, okay, let's see what happens. You know? But they would give me the treatment, you know, the proper treatment, which is what one needs as well. Like, I mean, just to give you an example of the training, and I've been trying to show this, but I wish I could just show it, but I can't here. But it's like,
I mean, you could. We could move.
yeah, no, I wish I could, but it's not easy. Because the thing is that just for the warm-up, you know, for example, and this is really just at the beginning of the warm-up, you know, you have to do 100 like drops from here,
Here, I'll
you know,
hold
like
that,
this,
yeah.
and you have to just, like, you're here, no, and you could just go, you know,
Oh my
and to
God.
the floor, but like back, bang, you know, like for those of you who have studied judo or wrestling,
Like
you
a
have
death
to,
drop.
but yes, but you have to do like a proper track, you know, and with a leg as well, and that looked really funny, no? But yeah, it didn't look professional at all. But yeah, it was like you had to do that a lot, and that was just the beginning of the training of the warm up.
Yeah.
So it involves a lot of judo, a lot of Greco-Roman wrestling, a lot of jiu-jitsu, a lot of acrobatics, and theater, a lot of theater
Yeah.
also, no? Because you have to, it's a sport that it's also a spectacle. You have to give a good show, no? Which most sports should remember that, you know? You have to also give a good show. It's not about winning all the time. It's about like also, you know, opening up, you know, to the stadium.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think one of the most, compelling pieces of this world is that daring to explore the lines between femininity and masculinity, and that's, as you mentioned before, something that was very much a part of this character's journey. In the relationships that he has with women in the movie, with his mother, his friends, like they seem to be easier and more open and more tender and more authentic, and where he struggles more and has a harder time with the male relationships. How did you relate this to what was happening for him internally and on the character's journey?
Well, yeah, there is a few dualities that kind of go into play here with the character. I mean, another one is the border, no, the life at the border. But we'll go that into detail afterwards. I think, yeah, because I think it's also an important factor. No, I think that Cassandro represents sort of the archetype that I hope I was one of the last generations that we had sort of absent fathers, no? It was easy to go into that, because I think that's a question that all men older than me and men my age have been asking a lot, or have been kind of like, we've been sort of deconstructing in a sense, like, what's happening with this mythology that we had of our parents, that half of them were true, but half of them we just came up with it, no? And so that was interesting to play with that, with Cassandro, that we could, relate to that kind of strange absence, in a sense, or strange kind of, and that made things easier, and obviously, easier, more immediate, no? And where we could connect emotionally very, very strongly with what we were saying, but we were wanting to talk about, but with Cassandra in particular, the border life is something that is also very, very interesting, because my family is not from the border. My mother is from Sinaloa and my father is from Michoacán, and but the border culture is incredibly unique and very different to anything. It's like a country of its own in a sense, and it is also very, very, just emotionally, spiritually very challenging, because every day you have to negate the existence of that stupid wall, you know? You have to kind of ignore it. Just as life does, because really a wall doesn't mean anything for life in that sense, but you have to ignore that wall and in order to be able to live there, in order to be able to go back and forth, you know, and the places that have the back and forth, you know, the places where people come and go are the most interesting ones ever, always. It's always been the more interesting places. So the culture there is incredibly rich and beautiful, and the people are great, and it's amazing what goes on there. And Cassandro, Saul was born in El Paso, but you know, he used to go to Juarez every day, you know, and spend time there and have fun there, and his family was there also. So exploring that was something really interesting, which had to do a lot with the character. This kind of like, who are you playing for now? You're playing for the father that doesn't recognize you, or you're playing for the mother that never knew you, or you know that you never knew, rather. That's Mexico. And the father that doesn't recognize him is the United States. So it's like, it's always this interesting journey, and I really liked playing that. I love the stories from the border. I really have a fascination for that.
Yeah, my husband was actually born and raised in El Paso, and he told me about when he was in high school, they would cross the border to get lunch, you know, and come back, and there was a real sort of fluidity of culture, and that has really clamped down. You know, that's not as much the case, that ability to move back and forth, but that wall and that border as like symbolic of who you have to become and be when you cross that line, and that becoming more and more rigid is really fascinating, and I think adds a lot to the struggle that Cassandro is going through.
Yeah, and there's thousands of stories to tell there.
Yeah.
You know, like many. Seldom we see films from there, you know, like from the border, you know, like with that capture something of the border culture.
Right, and where special. Crossing the border isn't a crime, right?
Yeah.
Where it's where it's for cultural exchange and for living life more richly and fully. I love that. That's beautiful. As an executive producer of the project, you were talking about how, like, was this like, what did it take to get a movie like this made? Was this an easy story to get people on board with, or what did you have to do to get it here?
Yeah, well, it was at that point that we said, okay, let's just go for it, and let's just talk with Amazon to see how we can get this together, you know. And with all the producers, it was like a very quick conversation that they were like, yes, of course, let's put this together. Let's find a way. You know, they have to find their way inside. You know, and once they found it, everything started to come up really easily. Because, I mean, I was also thinking, like, I never had an idea of doing a lucha libre film ever. But being a Mexican actor, I should do one lucha libre, you know, like film and eventually. Yeah.
And probably not. I mean, a movie set at the border, period piece about something, at least for in the U.S. as niche as lucha libre, like that doesn't sound like a project that's easily green-lightable in this industry. So it feels like the fact that this was something that was compelling to you made this possible in a way that maybe this isn't a story that necessarily would have been as easy to get made without someone like you interested in telling the story. Do you agree?
Maybe, maybe.
But you didn't come up against that pushback.
No, fortunately not. No. You know, there were several. I mean, a lot of people that started to get together in the project, and a lot of talent from Mexico. It became a Mexican film, and that's when everything started to because it's easier for us to do it in Mexico. You know, like to get the right people for it, and I mean, there were moments where obviously, you know how it is in the film, like even 2 months before or something, you're thinking, this might not happen.
Right,
No? This
right.
might not end up happening, and that's where again it's so nice to work with a family and with people that you've worked with before, because then you can really just pull through, and say like, okay, let's do it. Let's keep on going for this, and let's just keep on trying. And then in the second week, you see the material, and you go like, okay, it's looking good. Okay, let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. So every day it was like a little bit of something, but also there were many surprises every day with this. I mean, the day that I wrestled with El Hijo del Santo was like a mythological sort of day. That moment was incredibly interesting. I mean, or wrestling in front of a big audience, and everyone knows the script. In terms of like everyone knows what happens when there's I think the word is pin to the floor, like pin. Everyone shouts, "Uno, dos, and the whole audience was very, very excited, and they knew what to do, and so I don't know, many everyone got really involved, and we were very happy. I mean, doing it. Yeah.
Well, it's wonderful that you got behind it to get a story like this made, and to get Cassandro's story known in this way. I think we're going to move on a little bit off Cassandro to the next movie that this audience gets to watch. Y tu mamá también.
Yes,
Yeah. Your first real big U.S. breakout role, or where I think a lot of us came to know you in the U.S. Just so curious about when you look back at that experience, which you shared with one of your dear friends, Diego. What has stayed with you the most about that experience of making that film?
America, you were so young when you saw this movie. Yes.
I don't think you were that much older, but
Yes, but certainly you were very young.
I probably was too young to be watching that movie, but I did watch it.
Yeah.
It was exhilarating. Are you kidding?
Yes, exactly. Watching film material. Yes, it was like, yeah.
It was research for all of us.
Exactly.
Woo! Okay,
yes,
let's
exactly.
answer the question. No, so what? I mean, I'm sure that it's so many things to you, but what does the experience of making that film mean to you personally?
Oh well, I mean, before that I had only had the experience of Amores Perros, but it was like, but Amores Perros hadn't come out yet, so it was still like all of a sudden Alfonso calls me for Amores, for Y tu mamá también, after he saw a cut of Amores Perros, and so I was like, okay, this is fantastic, this is the best, and I remember reading that script and actually for the first time acknowledging the script in a way, because Amores Perros I had no idea. I was making it with pancreas, with with instinct, and I didn't know what was happening really. But with Y tu mamá también, I started to have an idea, and Alfonso was incredibly kind to engage us and to put us into the whole making of the film, or at least he made us believe that we were making it, together, because that's what good directors do. Also, they make you think that they know, they create stuff in you that. So we were very, very, very excited about. I was very happy with the idea of making Y tu mamá también, and then all of a sudden the process started to become long. Started to become like a very, Alfonso required from us a huge sort of engagement and participation, and we were there for 7 months, prepping and doing this and that, and just hanging out with him whilst he was in the office of production, and it was lovely. It was really nice. And later Diego Luna came into the picture. Literally, and yeah.
Wait, did you know Diego before that?
Of course, I know him since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Since we were kids, and since we were, he was in the little crib, in the stroller, and this is the anecdote goes like this because I don't, of course, don't remember, but they said that I looked, they showed me and they were like, oh, this is Diego Gael, like, and I put my finger in his mouth. Like, yeah, that's what they say. Yeah.
It was destined.
So every time that Diego kind of like does something that is not so, I go like, hey, like, I just give him a look, and he understands like, no finger on the mouth, no. So so he. When we were gonna do this film, like it was like we had rehearsed all our lives, and
Really?
yeah, we had prepared everything, we had lived this experience before, and we just went for it, and it was amazing. It was great. I think it's the film that I can say that where I discovered cinema properly, where I thought. Actually, right before ending the shoot with Diego, we were carrying some because there was a very small amount of the crew was very, very small, and we were carrying the bags from the cameras and stuff, and me and Diego look at each other and we say, man, this making cinema is actually really cool. It's something really nice. And so yeah, that's where we started to say like, okay, we're gonna be directors one day or something like, and do something with cinema. Yeah.
And you have. I mean, we only have 5 more minutes before we play the next film, and there's so many more questions that I would love to just ask you about Y tu mamá también. But you just said like you discovered cinema almost together, and then you've gone on to not only act, but to produce and to direct and to write, like as partners. In terms of what you put out into the world behind the camera, what kind of projects compel you as a producer to get behind, even when you're not, putting yourself sometimes in any of those roles, actor or director?
Yeah. Well, I think that I was very lucky and incredibly privileged to be able to begin with those 2 films, with Amores Perros and Y tu mamá también, and that made me think about why that happened, and because I had, thinking about it in retrospective, I had said no to many things also. Perhaps the only thing that I recommend people that are beginning to become actors, or they ask me like, hey, can you give me an advice, for this? I want to be an actor. And I say, like, there's I can't give advice as such in a sense, but I can definitely say that it's as important when you're beginning what you say no to what you say yes. It's as important to what you don't. Like I think the system or culture in a way tries to impose you certain pathways, that you have to follow because you have to do this and that because this is going to lead you to this or that, and if you have the possibilities of actually saying no to things, it's actually incredibly rich. It makes you grow even more, and I in a way that's a little bit what happened to me, and that's what kind of led me also into a pathway of thinking, okay, if I want to do what I want to do, I can start off by not doing what I don't want to do. Maybe it's so simple, but it's like it's the difficult art to listen to oneself in that sense, and I think that's what led me also to the kind of films I'm interested in, and thinking. I want to see films in another language. I want to see films in another music. I want to see films that talk about this or that I haven't seen before, because that's how Amores Perros came into the picture also in the world. Like we hadn't seen that. We hadn't seen those faces. I mean, it was many of us. It was our first film, and there was something interesting about that kind of like instinct and new geography in a way. So I'm very interested in that whenever I want to do a project. And the good thing is that there's millions of stories to tell that haven't been told, you know, and there's endless ways of telling them as well. So I'm curious about those kind of projects, you know, that are not that, you know, that will transcend into something else. Definitely something bigger, something that survives us, but at the same time something that is very connected to something that I'm curious about or interested, and that can be so many things. That's
yeah, that makes sense. When is the last time you saw Y Tu Mamá También?
Wow. Okay. Okay, I I showed it to my kids.
Wait, your older kids? I hope. Yeah.
Yes, and it was beginning, and they were like, "No, like, no, I can't watch this." No.
Did they get through it?
No. But they will one day. They will,
Okay.
and well, that was the last time that it was like, okay, let's try this. You know, like, yeah, it was a very funny experience. Yeah, but it's yeah, it must be weird for them as a kid to watch your dad do that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so before we go, can you just tell the audience, since they're about to watch it, what was your favorite scene to shoot making this movie and why?
Okay.
So they can making Y Tu Mamá También, and why, so they can have that in the back of their mind when they get to that scene.
Oh, there's many things. Okay, guys, no man, you like whoever hasn't seen it, you're so lucky. Yeah, because it's like I mean, it's such a privilege to watch it in a cinema like this, you know, and with this audience that, you know, many of you don't know each other, so it's great to be between strangers and watching it, and watching a film that I mean, at the end you'll end up wanting to live and maybe have sex also, but it's that kind of like, you know, go out like, I mean, then there's not many films that you can say that, you know, nowadays. So it's interesting to I don't know, that the power of cinema in this sense, because I think that my friendship with Diego definitely is very well portrayed there. Yeah. It's very well portrayed because we could play such competitive guys in the film, because in real life the competition that we have is on another type of level, or another type of, I don't know, it has another type of meaning. It's a much more I mean, professionally we don't compete at all, but if we do have a little bit of competition, it's more like I'm trying to impress him, or he's trying to impress me. And, you know, we're always trying to kind of impress each other in a sense, and also he's the only person that I have close to me that I can say everything, you know, like what I think of what he does, and he can also say everything that he thinks of what I do, and it's never hard, it's never complicated. It's very true and very kind of, you know, I don't know, very loving as well, you know, very appreciative. Like whenever we see something that we do that we like, we immediately go and kind of, you know, extend our congratulations. But also when we see something that we don't like, it's more like we're projecting, you know. Like I'm telling him, like, in this moment, yeah, and he says, yes, I know, and I'm like, yes, because that happens to me as well, you know. It's like this kind of thing. So it's great to have a companion like that, no, because it makes you feel less alone in the world, and also makes you feel that you're at least making things better, you know. Like you can get better, no, with an accomplice, no, in that sense. Okay, but my favorite scene in this.
Yes, you did not answer my question.
Yes.
That was all very beautifed.
Sorry,
but you did not answer the question.
There is a. I think it's on the internet. You can find it. It's there's a moment where I grabbed that I shot the camera.
Yes.
That I,
yeah.
you know it?
Where you took the camera?
I operated the
Yes.
camera.
Yeah.
And Diego has to come out of a room and throw up, and he didn't know that I was gonna be
Amazing.
doing the camera. And it's actually the shot that is in the because it's I mean the I think the behind the scenes is it's somewhere in the internet, like you can find it easily. But it's like I'm holding the camera, and I was playing with the camera like that, and it was El Chivo Lubeski, who's like one of the best photographers ever, and Alfonso Cuarón were like, yeah, shoot it, come on, let's go for it. And I'm like, what? No, I'm just playing with the camera. And they were like, no, yeah, just do it. You have to do this. And okay, let's do this. So I'm there. We're there in the beach, and so Diego comes out, and I don't know. It was a moment of like, okay, we're doing cinema, Karen, and we're like, we're gonna do this. You and I, we're gonna be together, making films, and that's why it's so incredible. Also, with all these recognitions that Alfonso, El Chivo, and El Negro, Iñárritu, like all our friends, like all of a sudden it's like, man, these guys, I used to hang out with them, like how can we start to have this kind of recognition? It's so fantastic. Like we never thought it was gonna happen like that. It's such a privilege and so lucky.
Truly, truly. And so watch out for his camera work in that scene and enjoy. And Gael, thank you. Just thank you for all of your beautiful work that you continue to put out into the world. And it does inspire us and to see beautiful art, and it makes us want to live better and live more and more fully. So thank you for being a true artist and sharing all your beautiful work.
Thank you, America. Thank you so much. Thank you. Muchísimas gracias. Gracias. América, muchísimas gracias, de verdad.